Every morning, before the sun has even thought about breaking through the grey British sky, thousands of headlights light up the motorways. Sitting alone inside those vans and cars are the men and women who build our world. For many in the demolition construction industry, that quiet drive is merely the prologue to a deeply isolated day. Once they're through the site gates, they step out, sign in, and climb straight into the cab of an excavator, a dozer, or a crane. The door clicks shut, and for the next 9 or 10 hours, their entire world is 3 cubic meters of space, a couple of joysticks, and the steady roar of diesel engines. When break time rolls around, there's no rush to a bustling canteen. There's no shared laughter over a steaming mug of tea. Instead, the ignition key is turned halfway, the radio hums in the background, and a dog-eared sandwich is eaten straight out of a tinfoil wrapper right there at the controls. When the shift ends, the journey reverses. They drive back to temporary digs in a town they don't know, eat a solitary microwave meal or a lonely takeaway, and climb into a cold bed. They arrive alone, they work alone, and they go home alone. The nomadic, transient nature of modern contracting means that by the time you actually learn a colleague's name, the project is wrapped up and everyone is scattered to the four corners of the country once again. We've spent years comforting ourselves with a very convenient narrative. We tell ourselves that construction is a tough, masculine world where people simply choose not to talk. We claim that men are naturally bad at expressing their feelings, that they bottle things up out of male pride or stubbornness. When it's a lazy assumption, and it completely ignores the reality of the modern workplace. We rarely stop to ask much simpler questions, like even if a worker wanted to talk, who on earth would they talk to? You can't have a heart-to-heart with someone when you're separated by thick, acoustic-rated safety glass and 50 yards of muddy wasteland. You can't share your worries about your family, your mortgage, or your mental health when your only interaction with your supervisor is a thumb signal or a crackle over a two-way radio. The truth is that we have systematically dismantled the spaces where connection used to happen. The days when an entire site would down tools and head to the local greasy spoon for a hearty fry-up and a proper catch-up are long gone. Tight margins, aggressive schedules and strict health and safety policies have squeezed out these vital pockets of downtime. Workers are actively discouraged from having an after-work pint, and the mid-morning social cup of tea has been replaced by a mad rush to keep up with the programme. We've traded human warmth for marginal gains in productivity. Now, in the sporting world, we talk endlessly about the magic of the team. We study how legendary managers foster a deep sense of mutual trust, a hive mind where every player knows exactly what their teammate is going to do before they do it. We know that a squad of average players who trust each other will always beat a collection of brilliant individuals who don't. Yet in demolition and construction, we've largely abandoned the concept of the team. What we have on the ground today is a collection of individual subcontractors, self-employed operators, and agency staff thrown together for a few weeks at a time. Without trust, there's no safety net. When you don't know the person operating the machine next to you, you can't anticipate their movements. You can't rely on them to have your back in the same way that a tight-knit crew would. The loss of camaraderie is a potential safety hazard far beyond a simple shame. It leaves workers feeling like disposable cogs in a massive, indifferent machine. The human toll of this isolation is deeply worrying. Loneliness weighs heavily, both physically and psychologically, far beyond a simple, sad feeling. When you spend weeks on end with no one to talk to but your own reflection in the cab window, your mind begins to play tricks on you. Minor worries spiral into overwhelming anxieties. Problems at home feel insurmountable because you have to carry them entirely on your own. The mental health statistics in our industry are already a national scandal. We're losing far too many good people to suicide and depression. When a person is staying in lonely digs, eating alone in pubs where everyone else is laughing with friends, the sense of exclusion and isolation becomes unbearable. They're physically present on a bustling, noisy site, yet they're invisible. That paradox, being lonely in a crowd, is one of the most painful experiences a human being can go through. And this represents both a critical welfare issue and a commercial disaster for the sector. The financial drain of this loneliness epidemic shows up on every balance sheet, even if it's not explicitly labelled. We can't simply shrug our shoulders and accept that this is the cost of doing business. If we can engineer incredibly complex structures and demolish massive concrete towers with millimetre precision, we can surely design a site culture that values human connection. And it starts with small, deliberate choices. It means creating comfortable, clean site welfare facilities that actually encourage people to sit together rather than retreating to their machines. It means building project timelines that allow for a 20-minute pause where everyone can grab a cup of coffee and a snack together. It means treating team building as a critical safety requirement rather than a luxury. We need to stop treating our workforce as a list of seat warmers. We need to start building genuine teams again. Until we do, we're going to continue to pay a heavy price, both in the safety of our sites and in the lives of the people that build them.